How much time does it take to be stylish? Isn't that the magic question? We all wish that it would take absolutely no time at all, and yet we tend to spend a whole lot of time struggling to try to figure out how to make style easy and effortless. Hello, I'm Kristen Cain from Kristen Cain Style. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm a style and mindset coach, and I can help you create a wardrobe you love wearing. And I do that by helping you get clear on not only the pieces and the concepts and the strategies of actually getting dressed and building a great wardrobe, but also on the thoughts and the feelings that you have around style and around getting dressed, because those are likely what's in the way and you might not even be noticing it. I do work one-on-one with clients. Style therapy is my one-on-one package. If you would like more information, there's a link down below. You can book a consult call. I do a 1-hour consult call where we do a little intake so that I can get really clear on what your style struggle is, and I can answer all your questions about style therapy, walk you through the process and how it works, and then I can help you make a decision on whether it is the right time for you to do style therapy and get your wardrobe sorted and create the style results that you've been wanting to create probably for a long time. You've probably tried a lot of things and you're just ready to kind of hand it over to someone who has been there, who has worked for 20 years with women in closets and fitting rooms, and who knows how to streamline the process of getting you from stuck and overwhelmed to a place where getting dressed is effortless and doesn't take any time. So today we're going to talk about how much time it takes to be stylish. I love this question. I have been asked this in lots of forms over the years. And the idea of effortless style and style that really is easy and simple, then we get kind of into that. But in order to get there, it's like takes forever. And I just don't see how it's possible for me to ever create that because I don't have time. So I want to start where I usually start, and that is with the thoughts. If you are constantly thinking that you don't have time to have good style, or that finally getting your style kind of struggles sorted will take way too long, it's going to take way too long. Like whatever we decide is how it's going to go is usually how it goes. Call it self-fulfilling prophecy, call it, whatever you want, law of attraction. What we decide is going to happen is often the way it goes, positive or negative. And so if you can pay attention to the thoughts that you're thinking about how long it's going to take you to actually get this style thing sorted so that you can just get dressed with ease and love your wardrobe and look and feel amazing and feel confident when you get dressed, you have to start to shift the thoughts. If the thoughts are always really negative and overwhelming and resistant because you think it's going to take a really long time, it doesn't have to take a long time. And it does take a little bit of work to get you to a place where it is easy and effortless and takes no time at all to get dressed, to pack, to edit your closet, to swap out when the seasons change. There is a way to make it really simple and easy and not take a lot of time. But if you don't shift some things, it's really hard to get there. My answer is, how much time does it take to get stylish, to kind of be stylish and have that part dialed in? It kind of depends. And it doesn't take much time once you have a few things dialed in. So the things that need to be dialed in are, number one, your style. If you don't know your style, it's almost impossible to have style be effortless and to have it not take much time to get dressed and look and feel amazing. Because if you don't know the way you want to look, you're kind of all over the map. It's really, really difficult to have a dialed in idea of your style that feels really quick and simple and not time consuming when you don't have any idea what your style is. And this is something I hear so often. I just don't even know how to find my style. I don't know what works for my body. I don't even know what I like. And again, as I ask clients often, and I pose the question here and over on Instagram on my lives and stuff, how do you think you would solve that problem? Like, our brain likes the problem because it is easy and it's on repeat and it is the least common denominator. Like it's the way we've always thought. And so our brain feels very safe, and that groove is very deep, and it conserves energy to just keep thinking the same thought. So if we want to do something different and approach it in a different way, then we need to start to think in a different way. And so I like to ask the question, whether I'm asking you or whether you're asking you, I would really get into, how can I solve this problem? Because our brain also likes to solve problems. So if you give it a problem to solve and ask it in the right way for it to unlock the potential of, oh, how are all the ways we could solve this problem? then you're going to get to your answer much faster and with much less drama and resistance. And so ask yourself, how can I solve this problem? How can I find my style? How can I decide what I actually want to look like? What would you say? Really, truly jot that down and ask yourself, how can I fix this problem? How can I decide what my style is? There are countless ways, and I have other videos, that will walk you through it, more precisely. But essentially, sometimes it's easiest to start with what you don't like. So I don't happen to like denim jackets on me. So I know that a denim jacket is probably not ever going to be part of my style. I don't mind them on anyone else. I think they look great on a lot of women. I think they look great on any woman who wants to wear one. I just don't feel like my most authentic self. And I don't feel like I need to have one in my wardrobe just because a lot of people have it on a must-haves list. So you can start to determine and define your style by what you don't want. The things, sometimes it's easier to see the things we don't like or the things we don't want. And so you can start there and really decide, okay, I know that I don't like bright colors, or I know that I don't want a denim jacket, or I know that I want my clothing to be comfortable. Whatever the criteria are, you can start to create a list, and then you can look on Pinterest and you can look on magazines and on TV shows and on Instagram and look at your friends and start to see elements that you might want to try in your own wardrobe, or things you already have in your own wardrobe that are underutilized. Pay attention to those. Does this feel like me? Does it light me up? You want a sense of authenticity when you get dressed. And then whatever other words come to mind for you. You might want to be fun or playful. You might want to be really feminine. You might want to be really feel like you're empowered by your clothing, or feel really artistic in your clothing. You get to decide. There are no wrong answers. It doesn't matter what any expert says as far as the style you should have. The only person's opinion that matters is yours. And I have seen this on so many levels with so many women who, if you were to take what they're wearing on paper and consider it as an outfit, it would be atrocious. It would absolutely not work. And yet you put it on the body with the energy of the woman who feels amazing in that combination, and it works. And so how you define your style is entirely up to you. There are no wrong answers. It can be as obscure and unusual and, not following the rules as you want it to be. You just need to decide, because if you don't know what your style is, there's no way style is ever going to be easy for you. And then number 2, with regards to how to get it so that having great style doesn't take any time at all, is to consider your lifestyle. If you're not kind of plugging your lifestyle into this style equation, then you probably aren't going to have the clothing that you need to actually support the life you live. And I have talked here before about our fantasy selves and kind of our fantasy life. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having a fantasy life or a fantasy self that you aspire to and that you want to step into and level up into at some point. So you might be someone who really wants to wear silk blouses, but right now in your life that isn't really all that practical. But you might have a couple silk blouses, and on the days when you're feeling like you want to be that next level of yourself, that next version, you might wear the silk blouse with your jeans and your sneakers just to run to Target. And so there's nothing wrong with that fantasy life unless it is taking over your wardrobe. So pay attention to your actual lifestyle and get really clear on what you need from your clothing so that you can make it take no time at all. Because if you have the clothing that supports the life you live, and you have the clothing that is the style that you want to be when you show up in the world, then that's a lot of time eliminated versus a closet full of things that are for a fantasy life that you don't live. And so now you're trying to go run errands and all you have is like fancy clothes, and that isn't really the life you live. Those two things specifically, figuring out your style and figuring out your lifestyle and what you actually do, will help you to cut out a whole lot of time with regards to your style, because those two things dialed in just make it an equation and they make it much easier. And the third thing is have what you need. And I come at this really from both angles. Have what you need in the sense that if there are gaps in your wardrobe and every time you go to get dressed, you don't have the belt, you don't have the shoes, you don't have the cardigan sweater, you don't have the plain t-shirts, whatever pieces are missing, pay attention to that so that you can go secure those pieces. You can fill those holes so that when it's time to get dressed, you have all the components, which saves you time. Yes, it's going to take some time to identify what's missing and to go secure those pieces. But once you have done that, it becomes effortless. It is not unlike cooking. And I use cooking references here a lot, which is kind of funny because I really don't cook and I'm happy not cooking. But let's say that you love to cook Italian meals that all have fresh basil in them, and yet you never have fresh basil. So go buy yourself a basil plant so that you always have fresh basil, abundant amounts of fresh basil ready to use in those recipes. Or maybe you love to kind of finish a meal with some really amazing olive oil that you kind of drizzle over the top, but you never have that olive oil in your pantry. So you need to go secure that olive oil to make it easy and effortless to make meals. It's the same in your wardrobe. If every time you get dressed, you're missing that belt that would make you look head to toe complete and put together and feel confident, then style is taking a lot of time, both physically, if you have to keep changing your clothes, and it's taking a lot of mental time because you have to keep thinking about it. Oh, right, I didn't get that belt and I need to put that on a list, and then I lost the list and then I never found the belt. Where if you can make sure that you have the pieces that you need in your wardrobe, so you've got the missing items secured, you've found what's missing and you've inserted them in your wardrobe. And at the same time, having what you need means not having too much, not having so much stuff that you can't tell the good from the bad. You can't tell the stuff that doesn't work from the gold that is hiding in your closet because you just have too much. So having what you need is really a matter of not having too much and also filling the holes so that you truly do have a stocked closet that has what you need, so that getting dressed does not take a lot of time and style does not take a lot of time. And then the fourth thing I would mention would be easy pairings. And this is an area where people sometimes balk and don't want to actually go through with the idea of the pairings of their clothing, what they're wearing together, the top and the bottom, the pieces they're putting on, having those be really easy and simple. That saves so much time because you're not trying to dig for the sweater that goes with that shirt, because that shirt and that sweater go with everything in your wardrobe. Ideally, I believe that at least 80% of your wardrobe should be able to be pulled kind of with your eyes closed and would work together. That your tops and your bottoms, 80% of those pieces you could literally just mix and match with absolutely any of the other pieces, tops and bottoms, and you would end up with something that looks presentable and that you feel good in, and the combination it works. I think this is a really difficult concept for women who have learned they have to buy head to toe what the mannequin is wearing. When they go into Anthro, they have to have all the pieces that are shown in the display or on the sales floor that go together, and then they only wear them that way. And so that is a sure way to have style take more time, because it takes more time to shop because you've got to have all the components, and maybe they don't have them in your size or in stock and you've got to order them. It's adding time to the equation of getting dressed and looking and feeling amazing. And so if you can simplify the pairings, and by that I do not mean boring, I do not mean dull, I don't mean that you have to just resign yourself to just wearing a white t-shirt and jeans. I mean, make it easy on yourself, because that takes less time and you can just get dressed and look and feel amazing in whatever you grab. And so I would spend a lot of time paying attention to what percentage of your tops and bottoms work together. Just literally, you could lay them all out and kind of mix and match and see how much of your wardrobe actually works together pretty effortlessly. And pay attention to the shapes and the sizes and the colors and the silhouettes and the textures, all of it. And if your wardrobe is largely things that you can't wear under a layer, but you always want to wear a layer, notice that that is going to take time, because you're going to end up trying on 4 shirts before you find one that can go under the blazer or under the sweater without the sleeve being all lumpy, because you haven't taken that into consideration when you shop, so that the sleeves are all smooth and easily fit under the pieces you want to wear over them. Or if your necklaces are always tangled, or you want simplicity, you want ease to getting dressed, because that's when style becomes effortless and takes no time at all. And lastly, I will mention that I would start, when you're trying to really get a handle on having style be easy and having it not take any time to look and feel amazing in your clothing and feel confident when you get dressed, I would go with wearing the simplest version possible. And again, this brings up for a lot of women the idea of it's going to be boring and dull and I can't just wear it like that. I would really challenge yourself to kind of remove all the excess and just go with the simplest version. And it can literally be a white shirt and a pair of jeans. It can be a gray sweater and a pair of jeans. It could be a pair of black pants and a blue sweater, or a sweatshirt that you love. whatever the combinations are, get rid of the excess, get rid of trying to layer and add accessories and add stuff that just complicates it and slows it down, and really start to feel the power of great pieces that all work together, that you know fit, and you know fit your lifestyle, and you know feel like your style. And then once that gets easier and that becomes effortless and takes no time at all, then begin to add in the pieces that will maybe make it a little more interesting, or maybe become your signature, kind of your signature element, whether that's a belt or a shoe or a certain kind of jewelry or a scarf or, a certain type of top or pant. But I would start with the simplest combinations possible, because almost always a white t-shirt and jeans in and of itself looks better and chicer and more fabulous, and you look more confident and put together in that kind of a combination than you do in something contrived where you bought all the pieces that were on the mannequin, but they just don't feel authentic and it's kind of too much. I believe that simple always works, and that it is a good way to get really clear on if the pieces in your life are serving you, and if you like them, and if they light you up, and to really start to understand what your style is and what elements you're attracted to with regards to wardrobes, and have fun pairing them together, because you have the confidence to know that pretty much all of your wardrobe mixes and matches together. You kind of can't mess it up. And it saves you a ton of time. So the idea of how long does it take to be stylish? It doesn't take that long. It just takes you paying attention to what does it take to be stylish. You have to know your lifestyle. You have to have what you need, and you have to go with easy pairings, at least to begin with. I believe once you've tried easy pairings and you try the pieces that are the simplest together, you're going to stick with that because it works and it's effortless and it takes no time. But I would at least start there and then add the pieces as you go that might make it more interesting or more fun. Usually when I start to do that, when I start to deviate from my really simple style, it starts to feel contrived and a little overdone, at least for me. That doesn't mean that's true for everyone, but for me, it just starts to feel like too much. And I'm usually then kind of dialing it back down to my comfort level, which is, how simple can we make this? How clean can we make this outfit so that I know that I feel authentic and I haven't wasted a lot of time, and I can show up feeling confident, because it's not about the clothes. It's about how we feel in the clothing. And for me, that simple, effortless, kind of get dressed with ease and in minutes just shows up in who I am then when I get to where I'm going, because that energy is what I want really in my whole life. I hope that that is helpful. If you have any questions about this one, I would love to hear, kind of how you feel about how long style feels like it takes you. Do you feel like you're close to having the style you really want? Do you feel like you're really far off? And are you hesitant to even kind of dive in any deeper than watching YouTube videos because you feel like it's just a almost unattainable situation to have great style and not have it take decades? And I think part of this comes up because when something has felt like it took a long time to get where we are now, where we kind of are starting to have some different awareness around it, our brain feels like, well, it's going to take at least that long to get to the next step because it took you so long to get here. And yet there's momentum. And so once you start to be ready to make a change, usually you're not as far off as you might think, even though your brain wants to make you believe that, oh my gosh, that's going to take you another 10 years to get there. Remember where you were 10 years ago? Look how long this took. And so I would just challenge your brain and recognize and remind it that, thank you very much, brain, for trying to keep me safe. But I think I'm closer to an amazing style that isn't going to take me too long than I might think, or than you might think. And let's keep moving forward. If you have any questions, let me know. I will be back next Friday with another video. And I'm always on Instagram. Every Tuesday, I do an Instagram live style Q&A. I am inviting one person every week to join me on Instagram Live for about 15 minutes of that, where I will coach you live on Instagram, and you can ask me anything. You can bring your style struggle. You can bring a piece you're struggling with. You can ask me where to buy something if you're looking for a specific piece, or what my thoughts are on something style related, and I will just coach live and we'll do it together and it'll be fun. So if you're interested in that, you can comment below, or you can DM me over on Instagram at Kristen Cain Style, and I can get you hooked up for, scheduled for one of the weeks moving forward, and we can join each other on live. I would love that. That's it. I hope you have a really beautiful day and a great week, and I will see you next Friday. Thanks so much for being here.